hi-hat. Now here is the secret sauce. This is the bass, right? So when you want to get those slides, right? This is what you do. You set your key group, you put a bass sample in there. You can either pull one from a sample library, like a one shot. It just has to be a sample because this is a sample-based instrument, right? So you set it to mono, right? And you set it to note on, so it's just like playing an instrument, right? Right? You go to sample, you place the sample in, right? I don't touch nothing. I just pick a very aggressive sounding 808, right? I don't change anything. Now this is where it's very vital. You go to the envelope, right? The attack, decay, sustain. You set the attack, decay, and release to 0. And you put the sustain all the way up, right? So it should look like this, like a box, right? Then you go to the parametric settings, right? I put it around, on this one I put it on 22. It's usually between 20 and 25 I find to be somewhat the sweet spot, and I put on legato, right? Now I'm gonna go to the clip so I can show you how it looks. Now, when you're doing your slides, right? And the best way to really learn how to do the slides is to watch tutorials of people using it in FL that make drill and use these slide techniques, because that's the best way I was able to interpret and translate what they did on their DAW into the Force the best that I can, right? So, you know, whenever you want to slide, right, you set the length of the note like this, and then you pick a note, not too long, but it can be smaller, up above it, and maybe an octave. I wouldn't go 2 octaves. I've been trying it out with 2 octaves. It get kind of funny sounding. Maybe an octave up. I'm still adjusting to find where the sweet spot on that, but I'm getting better. I'm finding that my 808s are sounding way better. And you basically pick a note, right? And you get this type of sound. Right? Right? So it's not really hard, and honestly, it is easier to create these 808 glides, right, in the Akai Force than on the MPC. The MPC, I do not like the piano roll. I do not draw these in. I use the step sequencer on the Force. I go to lanes mode, which will look like this, right? I hold down step sequence button, and I pick quarter notes, right? What that's gonna do is basically give me these little steps, right? And then when I want to make my glides, right, I go to 1/8. And basically that will fall like on the second. So now that the division is chopped up in 1/8, this is the first half of a bar, this is the second half of the bar, right? And etc. And usually, I'm being, right now, you know, I'm experimenting, but typically when these guys make their drill beat and they put their 808s, they typically put it on the latter part of beat 4 or beat 8, right? Not usually on the 2 and the 6, because it's just, that usually be too busy, you know, if you're making a beat more for rappers, right? And anybody that watched the Kanye West or that video when I was critiquing City of Gods, I didn't know Kanye West was producing City of Gods, but it made sense because he was kind of doing the same thing. He put a lot of glides everywhere. It seemed like every 2 bars there was a ton of glides. And when you really listen and study the music, the glides they're there, but they're not crazily frequent. They're pretty put in certain spots. Like I said, usually if you got a 4-bar loop, it's on the 4th bar where you're gonna slap your slides. If you make it double that up, it's on the 8th. So it's very simple, very easy.